All right, in this lesson, we are going to start to shift gears away from equations just a little bit, and we're going to start to talk about something called inequalities. And inequalities may look a little bit familiar to you once we start to talk about them, but they're not too hard, so go ahead and give them a chance. But just for today, we're not going to be solving them, we're just going to be graphing them. And inequalities are graphed on a number line in 6th grade. We do graph them on a coordinate plane later in 7th grade and 8th grade, but we're just going to stick to graphing them on a number line for 6th grade. Okay, so our goal for today is just to graph them on a number line. All right, so what I want you to do is think about situations that involve the word minimum or situations that involve the word maximum. So when you're driving down the highway and you see that the speed limit is a maximum of 60 miles per hour, what does that mean? Does that mean that you can go more than 60 miles per hour or less than 60 miles per hour? Or when you're at Carowinds or another theme park like Disney World and you see a sign like this one right here telling you that you have to be a minimum of 40 inches to ride the ride. Does that mean that you have to be taller than 40 inches or you have to be shorter than 40 inches? Okay. This is a very familiar sign to anybody that's ridden in an elevator before. So oftentimes it'll say that there's a capacity of a maximum of 21 persons. Does that mean that more than 21 people can ride the elevator or that less than 21 people can ride the elevator? So I want you to think of situations that involve minimums or maximums. And it doesn't have to involve people. Like I said, this one here involves a speed limit. Most of the time we tend to involve people, but it does not have to involve people. All right, so let's talk about a speed limit. So here we have a school speed limit sign. So based on this sign, I want us to name 2 acceptable speeds for driving. And this says that the speed limit is 20 miles an hour. So in other words, the maximum, and I'm going to write that down, the maximum speed is 20 miles an hour. So what are 2 acceptable speeds for driving? Well, one of them could be 15 miles per hour, and another one could be 17 miles per hour. And any answer that you put here that is less than 20 miles per hour is acceptable. Okay? What are 2 illegal speeds for driving based on this sign? Well, one of them could be 23 miles per hour, and one of them could be 29 miles per hour. And again, anything that you put here that is over 20 miles per hour is a correct answer. All right, now I know that this sign is a little difficult to see, but it's saying that in order to ride this ride right here, you have to be at least 52 inches tall. So, at least 52 inches tall. At least. Which is a minimum of 52 inches tall. So what are 2 acceptable heights for riding? Okay, so one acceptable height for riding could be 60 inches tall. Another acceptable height for riding could be 54 inches tall. And so any answer that you put here that is more than 52 inches tall or exactly 52 inches tall would be acceptable. You could think about a time probably where you were at a theme park when you were a kid or a smaller kid, or maybe even recently if you're on the shorter side, and you just barely hit that line in order to ride the ride, and you were like, yes, I exactly hit it. So you could be exactly on that line in order to ride the ride. So name 2 unacceptable heights for riding. So at what height would you not be able to ride the ride? Well, one of them would be 51 inches tall. And let's go with 42 inches tall. Okay? And again, anything here that's under 52 inches tall would be unacceptable. All right, more than 8 people at a time will cause the elevator to stick between floors. Yes, children count as people, and that's just a joke. So name 2 examples for how many people can ride the elevator at once. Okay, so name 2 examples for how many people can ride the elevator at once. So an acceptable number of people who can ride the elevator would be 4 or 7, because any more than 8 would make the elevator get stuck. All right, now before we get into inequalities, what I want us to do is go back to an equal sign, because we're going to get away from an equal sign. But before we do that, let's go back to basic number lines. And what I want you to do is draw a number line, and I want you to find these numbers on the number line. Okay, and we're going to plot them. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to plot the number 4. Okay? So here's 0, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to plot the number 3. Here's 0, -1, -2. And I'm going to plot -2. And here's 0 and -1. And I'm going to plot -1. Okay? Now, I need you to keep that in mind going forward as we start to do inequalities. So here's your definition of inequality. So an inequality compares 2 expressions and it includes an inequality symbol. And let's talk about what those symbols are. So there's 4 symbols. So the first symbol and the second symbol you have seen before. This symbol is called greater than, and this symbol is called less than. The next 2 symbols are new to you. The third symbol is a less than sign with a bar under it. And the fourth symbol is a greater than sign with a bar under it. So the third symbol is called less than or equal to, because it's got like an equal bar under it. And then the fourth one is called greater than or equal to. Okay? And I want you to write these key words down underneath. And I hate to say it, but it is the truth. You will have to memorize these words. Okay? So, the first one, greater than or more than. These are words that you'll hear with this symbol. The second one, less than or fewer than. The third one, at least or no less than. You'll also hear greater than or equal to. And then the fourth one, at most, no more than. And the other one that you'll hear is less than or equal to. Now, these words will not play a significant role in today's lesson because today we're just going to be graphing. But they are going to play a really big role going forward when we start to do word problems. Ooh, excuse me, I'm yawning. When we start to do word problems, okay? Go ahead and pause the video if you need to write those down, but I'm going to go ahead and keep moving. Okay, so how do we graph these inequalities? Well, step 1 is we are going to always make sure that the variable is on the left-hand side of the inequality. And that's something that you should be used to from when we did equations. So we always made sure that it said x equals 1. It didn't say 1 equals x, okay? But the big thing about inequalities is that if we move the x to the other side, we have to flip the sign around. So let me show you an example here, okay? So this says 5 is greater than x. But if I flip this around so that the x is on the left-hand side, I also have to flip the sign around. So then it's, nope, Miss Oates did not do that right. Let's not try and confuse you. Okay, let me try and do that again. So I have to flip the sign around as well. There we go. Okay, so then it says x is less than 5. Okay, so let's try this one now. -7 is less than x, but I have to flip everything around so that the x is on the left-hand side. So x is greater than -7. You literally just flip everything around. You flip the 7 to the end, you flip the x to the front, and you flip the sign around. Everything gets a nice little flip. Okay? All right, step 2 is that you're going to draw a number line. Okay? Step 3, you're going to locate the number that you need to graph. Well, that's easy because it's always going to be the number right here. It's going to tell you. Okay? Step 3, you're going to use an open circle like this, for the less than symbol and the greater than symbol. And you're going to use a closed circle, a colored in circle, like this, okay, for the less than or equal to symbol and the greater than or equal to symbol. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you what all that means. It's much easier to show you than to explain it, but I do need you to go ahead and write down the steps. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we have x is greater than 2. Okay, so step 1 is the variable on the left? Yes. Okay, check mark. We're good there. Step 2, locate your number. So I have a +2. Okay, so here's the 2. Now, it's a greater than sign with no bar underneath. So it's going to be an open circle. Okay, now I'm almost done. I just have one more step. Now, watch this. I need to draw an arrow. Okay, so you see how there's an arrow going this way, and sometimes the arrow can go this way as well. So I need to determine if my arrow is going to go this way or if my arrow is going to go this way. Because with inequalities, we don't just plot a point, we have to plot a point with an arrow. But let me show you something cool. You see this inequality symbol here? It's actually the beginning of an arrow. If I write it a little bit bigger for you, all I did is I wrote it a little bit bigger, and let me erase. I wrote on top of it here. Okay, so all I did is I took this here and I wrote it bigger. Watch how I made it an arrow. You see how I took that sign and I made it an arrow? So the arrow is going to point that way. And now I am done. That's the solution to my problem. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. So, is my variable on the left-hand side? No. So I have to flip everything around. So I'm going to flip the x, I'm going to flip the number, and I'm going to flip the sign. Okay, now I have to locate my number. This time it's -3. Okay, let me change colors. So here's -3. It does not have a bar under it, so it's going to be an open circle. Now, which way is my arrow going to go? To the left or to the right? Well, I'm going to draw an arrow. It's going to go this way. And I'm done. Okay? Alright, so is my variable on the left? Yes. Do I have a bar under my sign? Yes. That means it's going to be a closed circle. So locate my number, -4, and I'm going to do a closed circle. Okay? And now I'm going to write it a little bit bigger so that you can see. Now I'm just going to make it an arrow. So now which way is my arrow pointing to? This way. So now my arrow is going to go this way. And that's the solution. Okay, now let's look at this one here. Is my variable on the left? No. So I need to flip everything around. Okay. Locate my number. It's +6. And do I have a bar under my sign? Yes. So it's a closed circle. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my symbol and I'm just going to making an arrow, and it's pointing to the left. So I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to draw my arrow. Now there's really no rule for how long you need to make your arrow because arrows go on forever. So it doesn't really matter how long you extend it over the number line. I would just make it long enough so that, I can see. I know what you mean. Alright, so try these 3 on your own. Make sure that your variable's on the left. Alright, if you're not done, go ahead and hit pause. If you are done, go ahead and check your answers. So for the first one, it should be on the 4, pointing to the right. The second one on the -2, pointing to the left. And on the third one, it should be a closed circle on the 0, pointing to the right. Okay, try these 3. Make sure your variable's on the left. Alright, if you're not done, go ahead and hit pause. If you are done, let's go over it. So for the first one, it should be a closed circle on the -3 pointing to the left. The second one, an open circle on the 0 pointing to the left. And on the third one, a closed circle on the +1 pointing to the left. Alright, that is the end of this lesson. We will do a lot more practice in class. Let me know if you have any questions.